Yo, what's up everyone? Air Comics here, and today I'm going to be going over all the books I picked up last week on February 12th, 2020 for New Comic Book Day. But before we get started on any of that, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell down low so you can stay alerted every time I drop new content. And if you're not already doing so, please don't forget to hit up my Instagram, AR_comics. I drop daily reviews on there. So if you want something a little bit more in-depth than just a big, broad overview of an issue, check it out. So, without further ado, let's get started on the books. Now, for me, like the rest of you, I'm sure it was a pretty heavy week. I picked up 10 issues, and then I even picked up another issue a little bit later in the week because I finally was able to find it. And I talked to some people who picked up way more than me. They picked up 15, 20 books, and I was like, man, I don't know how you pay for this, but all power to you. And honestly, I thought they were all really good. There may have been one issue that I was kind of like, I don't really like it, but overall, I was pretty satisfied with all my books. First one we have, Amazing Spider-Man 39. Now, if you can remember from the last issue, J. Jonah Jameson was just getting situated in his new job. It's like an updated Daily Bugle, I guess. They're giving him his own podcast. They're going to put him on the radio instead of him pumping out old school newspapers. And it's pretty cool. Spider-Man, he got caught up in he was trying to get framed for a bank robbery. J. Jonah Jameson wanted to clear his name and kind of outed him as to what the whole, I think it was a S.H.I.E.L.D. top secret mission, but kind of outed him and let the bad guys know what was going on. Chance the Encounter was in there. He's got some like in the sky, illegal gambling. And this issue is just kind of a continuation on with that. Still no Kindred. I know, I'm a little upset about it as well. I'm sure at some point they're going to be showing them. But, until that time comes, we just got to roll with it. So this issue, like I was saying, was a continuation off last one. J. Jonah Jameson, he's now situated in his new job. And his very first interview on his podcast, Spider-Man. They're new best friends. They're cool with each other. And what better way to jumpstart his new career with New York superhero. But, it's a little bit rocky. It was a pretty cool issue. You got to see their friendship in the beginning. They're just talking casually, going back and forth. But then it's just started getting deeper and deeper and made for a better news story. In my mind, I kept thinking it was going to be all ploy and it was just for a good show. But it didn't pan out that way. So that was the whole issue. They're yelling at each other, going back and forth. They're blaming stuff on each other throughout over the years. So you kind of see them reminisce on some things that's happened in the past. I liked it. It was a good issue. Would I like to see Kindred? Absolutely. But until that time comes, we just got to keep going with it. Oh, and Chance the Encounter, he was in there as well. Like I was saying with that in the sky, illegal gambling. I think his name is Foreigner. They kind of set up a double or nothing type deal, and he bet Chance that he couldn't get one of Spidey's web shooters. So you saw him bust into a new station at the very end. It's a cool issue. I liked it. Next up, Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality number 3. By the way, it's a pretty cool cover, isn't it? My shop only had like 2 issues, and I was really happy I was able to snag one of them. This issue, I've loved this series so far. I thought it was really good. I've been enjoying it. This one was a little bit slower, 5-issue run, number 3. 2, maybe 3, it's going to be a slow one. It's got to be a story progressor, and that's exactly what this was. So, Doctor Strange, he took Spider-Man under his wing. They went to some little magic place where the Hobgoblin couldn't find him. And he spent the whole time just learning Doctor Strange like sorcery. It was all defensive stuff. He said he wasn't going to teach Spidey any offensive moves. But that was literally the entire issue. For some reason, they showed Morbius a little bit. I don't know what the deal with that one was. If you're keeping up with the Morbius run, maybe it kind of coincided with each other, but I didn't get that new issue, so I don't know about that. But he was in it for like a quick minute, and then he was gone. And Hobgoblin, Hobgoblin did his thing. He was looking for Doctor Strange and Spidey the whole time. Couldn't find them because it was like a secret lair. And that was it. Doctor Strange ended up showing Spidey all the moves. They went back to New York to Doctor Strange's old house. And I'm going to be honest, it was a pretty boring issue. Even Hobgoblin didn't really do much. And I think 4 is going to be a lot better, but it was kind of left off on a note just I don't know. It was a little boring, but overall, pretty good issue. Next up, Boom Studios, Alienated #1. Now, initially, I was a little skeptical of this issue. I didn't have too high hopes. I thought it was going to be okay. Totally wrong. This issue rocked. This issue could have potentially fought for one of my top issues of the week if it was a slower week, but it was a pretty heavy week, and we got some solid issues down low here. So, with that, it's about a kid named Samuel, Samir, and Samantha. All S's. Maybe that has something to do with it later in the series. But it's only going to be, I think, a 5 or 6 issue run. And it's all these like outcasted kids. None of them really have their place at their high school. They're just kind of riding out their senior year, and they want it to end. They all have this common bully. His name's Leon. He's like some redneck, and he hates what seems to be everybody. So these kids are just going about their day. They all got picked on in the morning or whatever happened, and they kind of cross paths walking to school one day. They take the woods and they find some weird alien egg sack thing. It's blue. It's cool. Kind of looks like my shirt. And they have like an out-of-body moment when they go near it. They kind of all form as one. I don't know. It was weird, but it was really cool. The artwork is fantastic, and they kind of realize that they can all hear each other, and they have this like telepathy power now, and they go about the rest of their day just kind of figuring out what they can do with this. They're all talking to each other with their minds. It was really cool to see. So towards the end of the issue, they realize, well, maybe if we go back to this weird egg thing that we saw hanging in a tree, we can get more info, we can figure it out, who knows. But for some reason, Leon's there. Leon found where it was going to be, and he's hitting it with this stick because that's what redneck bullies do, I guess. And he got killed by this egg sack thing. He just kind of, if you saw Infinity War, they all got dusted. It kind of was like that, a little bit similar. It was really cool, I'll put it that way. And then some creature like spawned, like fell out of the egg, and they were kind of just in awe looking at it. And that's how the issue ended. Honestly, I've got really high hopes for this. I think it's going to be a really solid issue, or solid run, I'm sorry about that. So definitely looking forward to it. Next up, Gwen Stacy #1. This is the issue I was talking about before. I'm going to be real with you. I didn't like it. The artwork was very average. I thought the cover is very nice. That's pretty cool. But the story just, it's not for me. You know, Gwen Stacy, it shows her being popular. It takes place back in the day for old school SpiderMan. They show a little bit of Harry Osborn, Flash Thompson, you know, little things like that. But the main entire idea of the story is that her dad, Captain Stacy, is framed for a murder, but he got shot in the process, so he's kind of incapable of figuring things out on his own. So Gwen takes the reins, and she's going to figure out what happened to her dad. It does sound cool. Maybe it'll get better. Someone just keep me posted on it, but I'm not going to be picking up the next one. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really enjoy it. It's got potential, but I don't think it's something that I personally want to keep reading. Now, the issue that I wish I would have initially picked up in place of this, Nebula #1. At first, I didn't think it was going to be that good either. Just another one of those gimmick Marvel buy me type books, but it's pretty cool. It started off, Nebula, she's doing work for Thanos, obviously. She's part of Thanos' crew, daughter. So she ends up on a ship. She's trying to steal some invention or something from the designer. It's called the All-Seer. He wants him to install it into her brain or whatever so that she can kind of figure out, I guess, like when bad things are going to happen, the odds of her succeeding in certain ways. Like, it kind of, like if you ever played Fallout 3 or 4 or whatever, like the VATS, when it's like you kind of like slow aim at something and you see all of like the odds of each body part to shoot at, that's like exactly what's going on that you see. It was really cool. The story itself was very okay. A little bit, it was definitely better than Gwen Stacy, I'll put it that way. And you kind of just, that's like the entire issue. The whole beginning chunk is her convincing the designer that she wants his thing installed into her brain. Someone tries stopping it, and then, obviously a big fight breaks out. She escapes. Her ship crashes on some planet, and the person that finds her, she can't remember who she is. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. I'm excited to read the rest of it. I'm definitely going to be picking it up. So if you're debating like me between Gwen Stacy and Nebula, I personally thought Nebula was a lot better. Safe Sex, number 6. Another fantastic issue. I love all of them so far. We get to see a little bit more from George and Avery. I forget the rest of the guys' names. Dennis, Nick, and there's one more. It's a female. Can't remember her name. It's the one, or Sylvia. So all of them, they're trying to escape the pleasure center. They're trying to convince Jones now because they're all kind of like trapped in a corner. They want to convince her that she needs to leave with them, even though she's completely brainwashed at this point. That was... Alright, I don't want to like talk it up too low, but like that was the entire issue. Just basically her trying to convince them so that they can leave and they want to bring her with. A lot more than that happens. Obviously a long issue, but not a whole lot goes down. No one even escaped. I think Dennis did, but not too much happened. It was a very good issue though. Next up, Iron Man 2020 number 2. I'm still on the fence with this one. I did think this issue was good. I thought it was better. I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be boring, and I was going to say, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm not going to keep going. But after this one, I might even pick up the tie-ins. It really wasn't that bad. It was basically a continuation onto, the robots are taking over. The AI now has their own thinking, that they don't like their place in life, and they want to, be more than just a robot slave. So I'm still not even sure if Tony Stark is alive or dead yet. I don't know what the deal with that is. He says he's alive, but maybe he's a robot and he just thinks it because he can control everything. But he's got this plan to basically free all of the AI minds at once. His brother Arno's got his own prerogative. He doesn't want that to happen. And long story short, they meet at the very end. Basically shows that Tony Stark is the leader of the AI, and they get into a big fight. And that's kind of where the issue leaves us, that they're staring at each other and it's about to go down. I'll probably keep picking it up. It really wasn't that bad of a run so far. We'll see where it goes though. What do we got? 4 issues left. So these last like 4 issues, 5 issues, what are we looking at? Alright, we're going to switch it up a little bit. No, I'll keep that in there. Alright. So these ones, I had a really hard time picking my top issue of the week. Mainly the bottom 3. Not this one as much, but these last 4 issues were fantastic. These really weren't in any sort of order, but these ones were. So next up on the list, we got Venom number 23, Venom Island Part 3. Very cool issue. I love the whole Venom run so far, and this issue was no doubt up there with some of the better ones. Continuation. The last issue ended, if you remember, Eddie Brock cut off his hand to basically get rid of, I don't want to call it an infection, but, carnage slash corrupted Venom. And the whole idea now is that he wants to make it to this radio tower at the island, like the very top of it, and he wants to send out a distress signal. He needs help, because now he's basically just, a regular man. He doesn't have any help. With that, Carnage, corrupted Venom, they rush to that same place as him. All these corrupted animals. Eddie Brock makes it to the very top of the little radio tower, whatever it is, calls out for Thor, and a massive lightning strike comes down. And basically at that point you see all the animals, they flew away or something happened to them. But you see a separated Carnage and Venom, just symbiotes. And they're both rushing at Eddie at once. And that's kind of it. The next scene you see he's on a plane with Captain America. I guess the distress signal worked. They found him. But Eddie says something's wrong. I can't feel Venom. I can't feel anything. And he says, well, that's too late. Cap says that's too late, while this massive missile is just like flying by and destroys the island. So is that the end of Venom and Carnage, or what happens on that? So I'm excited to see what happens. It was a very cool issue. They did bring in some Dylan Brock with Toxin again. They keep hinting at like Dylan can control symbiotes, and he has this power where the symbiotes can't like latch onto him. So we don't know exactly what Dylan is yet, but I'd like them to hit that hard a little bit more. I want to know a little bit more info on that before I keep, looking into things. But he did contact Noel. It was cool. Other than that, that was basically it. Now these last three, it was a little tough to pick. Absolutely love this issue as well. Marvel's X #2. David finally makes it to New York with the help of his little weird truck driver, which turned out to be Ghost Rider, so that was cool as well. David got too scared once he kind of did his little flame on thing that Ghost Rider does. Sorry, I probably butchered that. I don't know what he does, but he turned into a skull, and David took off. He figured that he was going to get killed. I guess he didn't know who Ghost Rider was. So Ghost Rider alerts the rest of the Avengers and the rest of whoever other heroes are in New York, and Spidey eventually finds David, takes him to his house, and I don't know, they just chit-chat most of the time. You learn a little bit more about them and like the whole overview of the whole situation that's going on. But I guess their grand scheme, now that Spidey has David, and Daredevil made an appearance too, so heroes are still there, but their grand scheme is they want to take this kid to Professor X because they think that he could be the cure to saving everything. It was an exciting issue. It was really cool. Plus, Alex Ross. It's beautiful art. You can't complain about that. Moving on to our final two. What do we got here? Yeah. Alright, we're going to stay in this order. So, Thor #3. Awesome issue again. Donny Cates is on fire, and this was absolutely going to be my top pick of the week until I reread this one again. I had to reread it again just to confirm like what I was thinking, but this was awesome. As you know, last issue, Beta Ray Bill stopped in because his whole planet just got destroyed, and he wants answers. Thor, the entire issue was just a fight between Thor and Beta Ray Bill. It was awesome. Galactus took a back seat on this one and just kind of let them do their thing. Thor is still with the impression that he is Thor. He's not a slave to anybody. He doesn't answer to anybody. And Galactus steps in a little bit and, lets him know, like, hey, just so you know, I could take away all these powers, turn you back into your old man self. But that was it. They fought the whole time. It was awesome. They explained things a little bit, but that was the whole issue. Just a massive fight. And then Lady Sif came in at the very end to kind of stop it. And that was how they ended the issue. So, Donny Cates, great work again. I cannot wait to read the next one. Now, some of you might be thinking, maybe I'm a little wrong on this, but I really like the idea behind this issue and the story to me. So, top issue of the week, Immortal Hulk #31. Also has a first appearance, so if you are collecting this issue, try and snatch these up. Make sure you get that Alex Ross cover A, and like I said, first appearance of Glowboy. They really don't go into any info about who Glowboy is. They just know he's a mutant, he survived a bit, and now Dr. McGowan, whatever the hell her name is, she was kind of in a different lab in the very beginning, I guess, and they were taking blood samples from Glowboy and they were using it for drugs and all that good stuff. But then they fast forwarded to the now. So Immortal Hulk is fighting, I think his name is Zemu or Zemus, the big white abominable snowman looking fella. So they're fighting, but the whole time this Zemus, he's not. Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking, but I gotta make sure I'm saying it right. I feel stupid. So he's not really fighting back or anything. He's just he keeps repeating these same words over and over, like memory-wise, like, oh, you remember this, or you remember this about me, right? Like, you remember this. And he's just not doing any sort of fighting. What are we doing? And he keeps, let's see. Zemnu? Yeah, Zemnu. That's what we're going with. XEMNU. You be the judge. So they're going back and forth the whole time. Hulk is literally just beating him senseless. But Minotaur is still behind all of it. He said this is exactly what he wants. He wants the Hulk to look like the bad guy. But Zemnu is messing with everyone's memories. He's messing with everything. Because now they're thinking like, oh, yeah, I do remember him. I know who he is. I remember this about him. And if you guys don't know, he is the original. He's like the original Hulk. He's the first thing for Marvel to be called like a Hulk. So I thought that was really cool as well. And then the issue ended with Hulk not really, Immortal Hulk, not really realizing who he is. He says, I don't even know, like, who I am anymore. So you see, that's the first time he's really questioned, like, who he is. So he knows he's the Devil Hulk, but is this, like, the Devil Hulk's, like good version coming at him, you know, like, not like a godly figure, but could this be the savior that, like, the people need? So you be the judge. This is a very kind of psychological issue in my opinion, and that's why this is my top issue of the week. So with that, these are all 11 issues. I hope you guys liked my review. I know it's just kind of like a broad thing. Like I said, on my Instagram, they're a lot more in depth, and they're good. They're good, fun reads. So what issues did I miss? What issues did you guys pick up? What am I still not reading that I should be reading? Make sure you comment below, like the video, let me know. And out of all of my issues, what was your favorite book this week? Let me know what you guys liked the most and which ones you thought weren't good either. So stay tuned. Wednesday's coming up. You know what that means, new comic book day. And get ready for one of those videos. And Monday, I'm going to try to post a video tomorrow about the books that are coming out for that new comic book day. So make sure you also comment. Let me know what I should be picking up out of that group. And with that, have a good night.